In your exam, you may well be asked about Prohibition in 1920s America. In America, prior to Prohibition, alcohol had been a main part of American society, or a large part of American society. People would drink frequently, and it was just part of daily life. Prior to 1920, campaigns started to develop, like the Temperance League, the Anti-Saloon League, all of whom started to object to alcohol being such a large part of American life, and they called for a ban on alcohol. So Prohibition, it was the 18th Amendment to the Constitution, and it meant that the sale of alcohol, the manufacture of alcohol, and the transportation of alcohol was prohibited. As a consequence of this, because people still wanted to drink, you had things that started to develop called speakeasies, which were essentially illegal bars where people were still able to purchase and consume alcohol. Not legally, of course, but they were still able to do so. You also found that there was a spate of bootlegging. Bootlegging is the process of importing illegal alcohol from outside of America into the country. And you also had many people who started to produce something called moonshine, which is homebrew, for want of a better word. So people would brew beer and spirits in their own homes or in illegal warehouses. Because people still wanted to drink, what you found is that criminals, organised crime, which had been a feature of American society all the way up until 1920, now organised crime, gangsters start to take over the alcohol industry. They set up these speakeasies, they fund these speakeasies, they fund large-scale bootlegging, large-scale production of moonshine, and illegal activity flourishes because you also have all the other activities that go alongside drinking, which then start to grow, so prostitution and gambling in particular. This means that many of those gangsters become incredibly wealthy, and as a result of becoming incredibly wealthy, they also become incredibly influential. And as a result, their success undermines traditional authority, because what they're able to do is they're able to buy the influence of policemen, bribes essentially for policemen, for judges, for politicians, who will all turn a blind eye to the illegal activities which these gangsters are engaged in. You find, therefore, that there are certain people who become incredibly powerful in American society, one of whom is this man behind me, Al Capone. Al Capone becomes very successful, as do a number of others, and ultimately what they start doing is they start a turf war, or there are turf wars going on all over America, especially in the larger cities. So in Chicago, for example, you find that during the Prohibition era there are almost 400 killings every single year. Some cities therefore become incredibly dangerous places, and so what starts out as the banning of alcohol quite quickly spirals into a situation where you've got cities which are becoming quite dangerous places because the rule of law is being undermined by the success of these gangsters. And it continues to be a difficult culture to challenge, because whilst alcohol is illegal, people still want to drink. These gangsters have control of the alcohol industry, and they are paying the people who would ordinarily be responsible for maintaining law and order in those cities. They are paying them to look the other way, and that's exactly what they do.